on social media and elsewhere that people claim that solicit people to make these charges and offer to pay them, and there was a tape and etc. And the district attorney.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Where Roy Morris Farm was supposed to have
How
this
are
tape.
you all are
Our
doing?
orders have gone to that district attorney.
Do apologize about earlier today. We wanted to put out a statement saying that we weren't going to have our networking party, but I am
very little of it has stuck.
so as far as a lot going on, and a lot of what we are doing is planning for what's to come for next week and some upcoming weeks going into the new year. So then I had where my assistant and all they're traveling, so I was gonna go, but I decided to stay back and do some things that are here. So for those who have been following me, I've been on a quest for some time now, say about a month and a half, to find out more about my lineage and my heritage. In essence, to know more about, for not only me but for my family, for about my bloodline, leading back to what we would say our ancestors, such as going all the way back to Africa. So I was going to do this tomorrow, but I said no, I got some time, I'll do it today. But just a couple of days ago, I actually had basically prayed and say that I wanted to it's so much of what we've heard about the slaves who came on the ship, got off the ship, and then they were sold off, but we just never really, I never heard the stories prior to, and this footage is going to allow you to see that, and hear this this man who ended up dying, I want to say around 145 years, and the oldest, which is documented, which is record according to YouTube. I haven't researched outside of that. I was just so excited just to see it. I was like, oh my God, I was just praying about it because I wanted to get some type of understanding prior, because we've heard the story, but to hear it in someone's word who was actually a slave that was on the ship, this is phenomenal. So tomorrow I will come back on tomorrow and do a segment where it'll be part 2 in reference to Oprah Winfrey, Tucker, what's his name? I got it all in there. Chris Tucker, T.D. Jakes, also, and then Quincy Jones. And it'll be the second part to where they are leading into finding out about their lineage and their heritage. And I want to say that been around since I saw it 2 years ago, and so it's been around for some time. And the man that is working with them, but it's not only about African Americans, it's also about European Americans finding their heritage as well. So we'll do both and everything. So I'm just waiting for my system to catch up with me. I hope you all are having a great Saturday. It's been just wonderful. Just taking my time with a lot of different things and not rushing through, reading over some things. And like I said, I wanted to come out, someone present to us that they would like some models from my company to be a part of a fashion show. So I'm waiting for that information to have more details of what's to come.
We should also point out the director of the CIA is Michael Pompeo, who was actually appointed by Donald Trump. So I
hope you all can hear this, because it's not a video, it's actually a recording that they place in a video format. So you can't see it, you can only hear it. So if you can hear me, fine. And if you come to a point where you can't, if you're still on, so please just let me know, and then we will go from there. So just to catch up a little bit on news, what's going on now is Roy Jones. Someone else came out and said that it's been a known fact that he always dated, teenagers, like that they never could understand why he would date high school kids. So for someone to come out and make that statement, we'll see where it falls at now. But it's just so much of skeletons in one's closet, because the truth is is that for one to come out, then if is there one, there's a good chance over 40 years there may be many others that will come out, and it's within 2 weeks of the actual, as far as the election. And this is for Alabama. This is for one to take over what Jeff Sessions did in Alabama. So this is something else here. It's just every single day it just keeps popping off and coming out there and stuff.
And National Security Analyst Juliette Cayenne. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. April, first to you. There's no real possible way to misinterpret.
So that's what you all hearing in the background.
National Intelligence and all those other officials you just
And this is
saw.
CNN that you're hearing in the background.
In the election.
So, okay, what I can do is go to my page. So I'm uploading all of this is on I'm Just Saying, which is a page that I started probably about 8 months ago. So everything is basically anything dealing with politics, dealing with just anything I want to just talk about, anything that's placed out there that I want to give my reviews and my opinions on is on that page. But I often, what I do, I share it from this page because of this is the bigger platform.
In Russia, Vladimir Putin knows what's going on. So this president wants to believe Vladimir Putin when he says he did not meddle, because it would lead to, if this were true, it would lead to the fact that he may not have won on his own standing. And not only that, there's an investigation. The president just wants to continue to say it's not right. It's just an effort to smear him. So the intelligence community is not always foolproof, but they have evidence. They have evidence that this is real.
Alice, to you, at one point during his discussion with reporters, the president said that the whole thing was set up by Democrats. Why is it so hard for the president to acknowledge what so many others already have accepted as fact?
He has said from the very beginning that he has feared that too much focus on Russian interference would minimize his victory. And the reality is he won. He won the Electoral College, and he is the President of the United States. And it would be helpful if he would embrace that idea. But look, we can all agree there's virtually universal acceptance of the idea that Russia did interfere with the election. To what degree it influenced the vote, we may not ever know. But it's clear that Vladimir Putin does not want to admit that he's involved in this. And I think that the situation that the president was in with him today, at a photo op in the summit, it wasn't the right place for him to really push on this issue. I think it was right that he did ask him if he meddled in the election. I think he clearly asked him.
I typed it up real quick,
times, and
so I don't know, I might have some misspelled words, you all, but I'll correct it when I get finished with this. I was just so excited to find it, to come across it, and it's just like, so I tell, one, all the time, I pray about a lot, and, things that comes, like in forms of things, for me to understand more, it's like God just put it like right there, and I'm like, okay, it's here. This is what I wanted to know. This is what I wanted to find out. So all of this is absolutely wonderful. So I'm just trying to take down this because I use a lot of different platforms. So let me see if this is going to work.
Further on that, but I think the fact that we did make some progress with regard to defeating ISIS, that is the big takeaway from their conversations.
Juliette,
let's see if it's going to let me do it now.
What was your reaction
so today,
saying this today?
Like in social media, this of course is we're celebrating Veterans Day. I put out a spiel about my dad who fought in the Vietnam War, and I also gave pretty much wanted to present and showcase and feature and just in honor of all of my family members that have served in the war. And I want to say out of all of them, only 2 is remaining in there, and one is a lieutenant colonel, and the other is, I'm not sure, he's in the Navy. I'm not sure, he's actually married into our family, married my niece. But my first cousin, I'll never forget, she went to, she was going to school, and I always say, well, wow, she just don't even have to study. She's like 4.0 or 3, it was like 3.9 or something like that, through all the way out of college. It was a 4-year school, and it was in Orangeburg, South Carolina, actually. But she had joined the ROTC, and from there she went in as a lieutenant. Well, I'm sorry, is it not a lieutenant? What it is when you go in? Because like a E8 or E9 is like if you're coming all the way through. So she went in as a, I know it was an officer, but I can't remember the name of the officer. I'm not that intact with the military much like that anymore. So she went in and she worked her way all the way up. And now, like today, she's going to retire next year, actually. So it's exciting for her. She's 2 years younger than me. So I'm excited. I'm excited for her. Then my dad, he was in early on before I was born. And he fought in the war, of course. And then her father, actually, he retired from the military. I want to say close to about 25 years that he retired. Then I had 2 sisters and a brother that was in the military. 2 nephews were in the military. Well, 3 nephews were in the military. My ex-husband was in the military. He had a sister who was in the military. Then his dad, he retired of like 30-something years in the military. So I'm surrounded by a lot of ones that have been in the military. Who else? And then it's all listed there. But wanted to definitely, give that tribute to them, to let them know thank you for their services. And then, of course, all others, thank them for the services as well, because it's phenomenal how it just how they go out every day and they making a difference, and they don't know what day what is going to be as far as coming at them. They don't know, and a war could break out, and this time right here, honey, it's like with Trump being in the scene, anything liable to happen. I'm like, this should be the time that anybody be like, huh, what? It's about time for me? No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. You do as you led. Like a lot of ones say that people are called because that's what they're called to do. That some of them, of course, they see it as a way that is a great, far as provided for their family and for them. And they may be in the sense that I know, because they know they have to fall, because that's their job. If anything break loose or if anything happen, but it's phenomenal. A story that actually happened. I was dating a soldier out of San Antonio, Texas. And I went up for the weekend, and it was just, you all. I mean, he actually contacted me, and I guess y'all said, where is this coming from? He contacted me like 2 weeks ahead of time, because he knew I was coming. He was like, I need to get everything in the house that you want. What do you want? What do you want? So he went shopping, got everything. And did I miss my flight going to that one? Because I missed my flight going to LA one time. No. So I got there. Everything was just laid out. I mean, when I tell you he cooks, he just wants you to sit there, just watch him, basically, or he serve you from morning till night. That's just the way he was. Why are we not married to this day? Don't ask the question. That's God. Okay. So we went out to a club that weekend. I was there for a week, I believe, and he went out to the club on that Friday night, and it was valet parking. And I remember him going to the back, and he put my purse and whatever in the trunk. But when then we left that club and went to another club, and I had my ID in my hand, and he was like, well, this club you don't need your purse. And I was thinking that, okay, my ID and my purse in the trunk. Well, I had it in my hand, and it was in this little cute Rioni. It was a brown version of this design, this Rioni Italian line, and it was like a little wallet fold where you put your license and you put your your credit cards and stuff in there. It's like a little folder thing that I got, and it was a part of my collection. And so he was like, I'm still waiting for this to come up, you all. I'm making time here. So he was like, yeah, just come on, you don't need it. We're just going to go in. And so, I guess you call it club hop and whatnot. So we went on in, and not realizing that when I stood up, the wallet fell out off my lap onto the ground, and not even knowing it. So the next day, woke up, and now this is the day I'm getting ready to go back. And he was like, well, no, stay another week. I'm like, no, I can't. I need to get back. So finally, getting ready to go, and I'm packing up, and then it didn't dawn on me to say look for my wallet, the area, that, to make sure everything was in. So we're driving towards the airport, and I went into my purse and I started pulling things out. And I was like, well, where's my license? Where is this? And nowhere to be found. So we went back to the house, nowhere to be found. So I was like, well, the only way it could be is at the last place we went, because I needed it in when we was at the first club and not at the second one. So we went back there. We went through the whole, and he had just got this new Lexus, and I know I'm going around the bend, honey, but y'all got to work with me, okay? He got this new Lexus where you could actually see the back of the car. I mean, like you could see from the rear view, and that just was coming out. And then even with the car where you open the door, it was so funny because he was like, well, just you don't have to do anything, just touch it a little bit and it'll close by itself. Because I kept closing it. You're like, look. It was so funny. So we in the car, I'm like, okay, how can I get on the plane? I can't get on the plane without whatever I need. I just can't do it. It's just not going to happen. So I'm just panicking and whatnot. And then he is like, well, just calm down. So then we called the policeman, and then they came, so we filed a report. So they gave me this document that I did file a report. So that was good that I did that, because I didn't know I really was going to need this, and that was going to be a help. So then after that, we actually was just, but before the policeman came, we were just so deep in thought and just trying to figure this all out until he had the car not in reverse. He had it in where he thought he had the brakes or something on or something, but the car rolled back and hit one of the poles and messed his whole thing up in the back, which was the mirror. But that was a moment. So it's like everything is like all those different things was happening, and I was like, I've lost. And actually, I lost this big ring, but it was like a white stone. It wasn't a diamond, but it was like this beautiful white topaz ring. And I lost that the day before. Then that happened with my license. Then he hit his back his car. That happened. I'm like, and you want me to stay? Oh no, I got to go. And this is what I'm saying to myself. So we got to so then he was like, well, we're just gonna go to the airport. He was in uniform, and we got to the airport, and it was like we were in a movie. Everybody was coming from every direction, just coming up, shaking his hand and telling him thank you for his service, and da 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 da. They were just going, and I'm sitting in there like, look, y'all see that I'm in turmoil. I'm in like, I don't even know if I can get on the plane. They probably will not even let me get on the plane. So we got to the area, and there was like, well, yes, what we'll do, just go to the area where going to check in at, and then speak with them. We got there. There was like, immediately when they saw him in uniform, there was like, she's fine. So they couldn't put me in first class because they didn't have any more seats, but they actually put me right behind first class, and I got served as first class, you all. But in the meantime, getting where we waiting, not only that, they saw I was so distraught, they even allowed him to go in the back with me to the airplane area. Now, that normally don't happen. He actually, and people were coming up to him then saying, thank you for your service. And that's really about the time it really sunk in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really deep. Because you kind of know that they go every day and they go to work, and they might be going as a finance officer, it might be going as a mechanic, but they are in service. They are actually making a difference in a mighty way, that anything at any time, and everybody need each other. Just like I talk about my network, everybody need each other to make it up to where it needs to be within in the Air Force, Army, Marines, Special Forces, Green Beret, you name it. Everybody need each other. Every little aspect of what the jobs are, because it's needed. So I am so grateful, and I'm in honor of, as far as to even speak on behalf of my dad. I don't recall him really ever talking about his experience in Vietnam. My father-in-law, who was in Vietnam, my Uncle Sammy that's on there, he was in Vietnam. So all of them was in war at one point in time. So just hats off to them. And my story, I brought that in to show and say that's when it kind of like bloop. It like really, even when my husband was in the military, I didn't see it in the light that I saw that day, that so many people was just walking up to him to say thank you for your service. And it wasn't a war. He didn't even, his job was that he traveled and he did certain different things. It wasn't even a training. He just traveled throughout the United States. He didn't even go to war, but still yet he's a part of it. He helps them make it up. Okay, so I'm almost where I need to be, and I threw that in there to share about the services. And I know I add, not add anything, but share things. Maybe it's like, well, we don't need to know all of that, but you gotta understand why. So whoever watching this and may watch this another at a later time, then this will definitely be great. Okay, so it's on I'm Just Saying page.
At the 21 Club in New York, Flynn's attorneys deny these allegations. We're joined now by journalist James Grimaldi.
So what I'm going to do is like flip the actual camera over, and then you can actually see the actual slave owner. And his name is Charlie Smith. I had never heard of him before, and I literally should have heard of him. So when I click on it, it's going to take me to YouTube, and then I'll be able to read a little bit more on him as well. So I'm going to turn this down, and I'm going to go to YouTube. Okay. So for those who are watching, this is my page. Okay. And this is, I'm just saying, says my thoughts, my opinion, my page. Okay, so this is him right here, and like I said, I didn't spell check or anything like that, but it's saying, on my quest to find out about African American heritage, I was on my search of hearing the story of slaves being captured, as far as bringing on the ships, and once they came to America, I found it, and I pray for many others to develop. So when I mean develop, means to show up, because this right here is, like I said, whoever been watching me like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, I found it, and I was in tears when I was like, oh my goodness, when I'm going to come across it. So what I'm going to do here is,
the following is
I'm going to stop this a little bit right here, and he's being interviewed. So I'm going to show you this right here. It says the oldest recorded person to ever live in the United States was ex-slave Charlie Smith, who was reported to had died in the year of 1979. I was still alive. I mean, I was alive. I was, wow. Okay, at the age of 137. Though there was great debate about the actual age, in 1975 recorded interview with the Library of Congress, he states that he was 144 years old. That would make him 148 years old at the time he died. Wow. Listen as he gives his account of what it was like to be kidnapped from Africa and made a slave in the United States, and of his life as a U.S. citizen afterwards. So this is so deep, and I'm touched because I want more stories of this to develop, and I will be on the search for that, because I said so much of what we've heard about them being here, I wanted to hear it like beforehand. So he's going to share. So I hope that you all can hear it.
View between Elmer Sparks, Texas ranchman and historian, with Charlie Smith, old-time slave of Bartow, Florida. And we've already got on the introduction on it. Okay. Is it coming? Yes. Mr. Smith, what is your full name? Charlie Smith. Charlie Smith. The man raised me named Charlie Smith. My first name what my mother's name is Mitchell. Mitchell Watkins. That's what my mother and father named me, Mitchell Watkins. I was raised in that, was born in Africa and come from the United States. The state that was in slavery time, they sold the colored people. They sold the colored people, and the green ones from Africa. And they brought me from Africa. I was a child, a boy. The colored folks wanted to throw me off the boat coming from Africa. Throw him overboard. I'd been cussed. Throw him overboard. Let the damn whale swallow him like it's on the Jonah. Hadn't it been the colored one wanted to throw me off. Hadn't it been for Legree, and the captain of the boat, Legree was a white man, and the captain of the boat was a white man. But the colored one wanted to throw me off the boat. And David J. And they bring me from Africa. Liberia, Africa, where I was born. And put it in the United States.
Okay, everyone, so I'm going to just flip it over because I'm going to actually have to move around a little bit better to be on. Now, keep in mind that what he just said, he was a child. It didn't say how old he was when he was, but his mom, it named his mom name, and Liberia is where he actually lived. And as you're going to hear it actually play out, which is so amazing. So I listened to part of it, but it's going to be some background noise of people talking in the background. I'm not sure why. This should have been something that should have, you know, in a quiet place, because this right here really let us know and understand actually how it was. And I'm just touched, you all. I don't know about you, but I am moved. I'm touched. I'm just in a place right now. I'm very emotional because just to hear this and just to know, and for those who, like I said, who's been following me, I actually wanted to learn more why I felt as though within my being that, you know, white Americans in one felt like they were superior and just wanted to keep us in bondage. And how did whoever had the first thought of actually going to Africa and getting slaves, where did that come from? And I was praying about that, and God led me to the Bible. I went to Genesis, and I was able to see where the first thought came from of when Noah cursed his son Ham. And it started back way from then. Now, whether it was before Adam and Eve, because I'm not sure, because this is where I actually was led to. I believe, I went into Google, and Google led me to Genesis. So you all, I'm going to continue to play it. I'll be back, but I just wanted to give you, because they don't have any video as far as picture to picture. As of right now, it's just his picture, but his name is Charlie Smith, and this is an amazing story. And whoever upload this only have 10,000 views. So that tells me that it's out there someplace else and could be more. So I will continue to look. And if you know of it, and if you've heard of him, if you know more of it, whatever is going on, please share it with me. Because like I say, I'm on this quest and I definitely want to learn more about it. So here we go.
Northern people, Lord colored folks, pitch up on a block and say to them, Big Joe, the highest bit of get you. The highest bit of get you. But the northern people, Lord colored folks, and the south Lord colored folks, and the northern people didn't care either. Colored people. So the north said it's too cold. Boom, you know, to stand the cold. But you got southern white folks. You got southern white folks to look at them and pay the white folks, southern white folks to look at them. And you got to mistreating them. So, and you come down the north and the south, the first fought war to free the colored. The north and south fought war. And that was slavery time. And freedom and giving them. Yeah. I ain't reading for it because I couldn't read. I knew when it was done. And the man, they put you up on a block to sell you, to bid you off. And when they come down here in freedom, they bought the North bought the whole state of Louisiana and gave it to the colored people for their territory, to make the law and rules. And the colored people sold their rights, sold out to the white, silver and white. And that's freedom. Freedom. The North and South fought war, the first war in the United States. The North and South fought war to free the colored people from slavery time. I ain't reading for it because I couldn't read it. I know it because I was in the creed. The colored people, no always did hate me from a child, bringing me from Africa. The colored wanted to throw me off the boat. Throw them overboard. Cuss. Throw them overboard. Let me down.
How did you come to be on the block, get out, and brought over here? Was you brought over by surprise?
Yeah, they brought me over here. The North, the people, sold the colored people.
Did they trick you to get you on the boat?
No, they fooled you on the boat. They fooled the colored people on the boat. I asked my mama, could I go down to the boat landing to see that white man? I was raised in Africa. That was in Africa.
Yeah.
There was, I was raised, born there in Africa.
Yeah.
The white folks, you know, white people stay in Africa, south part of Africa.
Yeah.
They stay in the north part of Africa.
Okay, y'all. So he just said that he wanted to, and I'm not sure what lineup, what range it was, but imagine what we've seen pretty much all our life is that them being where the whites came in and they were befriending the Africans. And they were putting out that certain things that I guess it sounds like it could possibly say, come on the ship, check the ship out. Because, you know, we just picture them going through the jungle and going through the areas and just grabbing up people and doing things. But a lot of it was, from what he's saying, was from the free will. He asked his mom, could he go down to the boat landing? The boat landing. And when he got to the boat landing, then that's when they gave them a tour of the boat. But they were talking about, he said, it's just like what we call pancakes now. They call it another name, because another name he was familiar with in his homeland, in Africa. Wow. Okay, because I never knew that. So I'm gonna go back and play this some more.
And they were the solely colored people in the south part of Africa.
South part of
Africa. They put you up
Africa.
on a block and bid you all.
In south part of Africa.
And the way he got us on the boat, he said, come right in here. That was the saying. Come in here. Color in all the color. Over in that country, you don't have to wait. If you get hungry,
Thank you.
all you got to do is go to the flitter
Thank
tree.
you. I'm gonna
At
look
the
at
flitter tree on the
that.
boat. Playing at the flitter tree.
Thank you,
You go to
Regina.
the flitter tree. Same thing now, we see people call them United people, call them pancakes, they call them flitter. Them flitter trees, bad that. That tree bad, the flitter they clean. The other flitter tree, it's on the boat. There you go. Jazz shows the flitter tree on the boat. Come on down here. Call the lower deck on the flitter tree, then shows the syrup tree. The other syrup tree, or is it on the boat, too? Come on down here. And they call on the lower deck on the boat, they keep calling the hatch hole. Come on down here in the hatch hole. They show something down there. Got out in the hatch hole, we said, felt the boat moving. But we thought it was going back up there to the flitter tree.
You heard that?
And it was leaving. And when it landed in New Orleans.
My.
Colored people were so late. So, they bring us from Africa over here. The colored folks want to throw me off. Throw them overboard. Throw them overboard. And the white wouldn't get me.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, and y'all are hearing this. So when he asked his mom to go down, now I'm trying to, that's the part that I missed. He named the name, and I was trying to listen because it sounded like it was an American name that he said his mom was. So I don't know if she came with him, but he asked to go down to the boat landing. And when they got down there, he just went into, sounds like it was more like they were being sold on the block right there in Africa. And he said that, you know, there were whites that lived in Africa, but he was naming another part. I want to either say it was South Africa. Y'all probably heard it. Like, Darlene, did you miss that? Then, of course, he said when they got down there, and it was actually to show them the boat, to show within the boat, he was under the impression that the boat, they were thinking the boat was going to go back up towards, still in Africa, but when they knew anything, they were like in, what, New Orleans.
Yeah, don't get the rubber boy. Goddamn, let the damn wheels slide and lay down Jonas there with the sea. Don't throw me off the boat. Bringing me from Africa in the United States. Got it over here to slave you. You put you on the block of slavery. Put you on the stage, the Dakota, the block. Put you up on the stage. This man of body, the highest ability get you. Get on you.
Never heard of it.
The highest ability get you. He planted his plantation. Put another one up there. The highest ability who's going to beat you the most, he came to his plantation. He had the white in the south. And they went to mistreating the color. Getting children by the colored women. And all such as that. Getting colored. And the white find it out how they're treating the color. And you come down here, the first war over in the United States, north and south, spot war, free the colors.
And who was it that bought you? Do you remember who bought you?
Bought me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was, when they went to New Orleans, that way they sold the people. The man who raised me, he didn't buy me. The man who raised me, they was kind of put you up on the block to sell you. He was Jake. The man was Jake. He named me. That's the name I'm going now. Charlotte Smith. He named me. When he took me. He raised me in Texas, Galveston, Texas, where I raised me. And the man who raised me named Charlotte Smith, and that's the name he gave me. Mm-hmm.
So he ended up going to Galveston, Texas.
And his children, he treated me just like he treated his children.
Oh,
and
gosh.
everything. Not one thing, everything. We ate together, we slept together. Oh, the boat.
Wow. Oh, I got to stop this. Did y'all hear that part? So his slave owner was actually, basically, it sounded like he said he wasn't bought. It's like, oh my gosh, you all, this is so deep. Ugh, this is so deep. Oh my God. Okay, so he ended up going with the one that gave him the name. His name was Charlie Smith, to Galveston, Texas, and he said he was treated just like he treated his own kids. So this is a story I have not ever heard before. He said they slept together and everything. He was treated just like his slave owner basically was treating him just like he treated his own kids. Wow. Okay. I haven't heard this yet, you all, so I should have probably did to get to my emotional stuff out.
Charlie Smith, he had all kind of cattle, and all of us told his pistols and something to shoot. And I was on this colored cowboy. I got on a cowboy shirt now. I bought from Texas. Then had it all my days. I raised up a cowboy.
Raised up a cowboy.
Colored cowboy he had. In Texas. His name was Charlie Smith. And he always treated me and his children. Anything you got to have, don't never let it give out. And saying enjoy your money when you're living. You can't tell none of the reason when you're dead. He said millionaires die and leave all they got. Everything they got, so they ain't said nothing with them. That his name was Charlie Smith, and he named me Charlie Smith. And he always told me don't change my name. And when he died, all of us, he had 2 years, 3 or 4 of them. He didn't put no money in no bank. He had these little money safes. People tell me, people got them now in some places, in the houses, you know. He had two in the drugstore, in the dry goods store, and 2 in the grocery store. That made 4. Then he kept his money and all his cowboy money, what we used to. We, all cowboys, wore boots. Half a leg boots and knee, what you call knee boots, which come clean to your knees. Well, we told it out what he didn't teach us, we carried our boots. And I was the only colored cowboy he had. All the rest of them white. We told pistols and rifles. We carried them. We killed bears, hammers, and things like that. When he left the stock, he was a cattleman. We had plenty of cattle. And all them animals, bears, hammers, and things like that, and lions. They'd eat up the little pigs and little young stuff. And that's what the cowboys was carrying the pistols and rifles to kill them.
Now, what did you do after the slaves were freed? After you were with him?
With him?
You just went ahead to work on them.
When they freed the color, we just say, the man would, when they freed the color, they bought the whole state of Louisiana and give the colored people their territory to make their laws and rules. And the colored people sold the rights. All they have to, when you give them the wood and property, anything, they have to get it approved by the white. Now, that's the way it's done. They ain't got no, can't make no laws, can't make no rules. If they make them, the white let them have it, they sold out.
Now, after he died, then where did you go then?
After who died, colored folk.
Did you go
And in the first war was in the North and the South fought war. The North bought colored people. And the South bought colored folk. And the North got the Southern white folks to look after them and take care of them. They wouldn't tell them though, said it was too cold for them. And got the Southern white folks to look after them. And the Southern white folks went to mistreat them. And
Did you go out west then, or?
no, I
you
wasn't
stayed
in the West. I wasn't in the West then, yeah. I was in the West when they freed them.
That's what I mean, after freedom.
Yeah, after freedom, I was in the West. I was in the coal man Charlotteville when he went to selling them.
Okay, so now this is interesting because, and I never understood and knew this either. Okay, so think about it this way. Coming from Africa, they weren't accustomed to climates like New York climate. So when you think of up north, there was really no, not like say the Africans were there like far as to work the fields and all that stuff, but they would be more in line with the climate and down the south. So that's why the south part was more of but it was more like, as far as when it came to slavery. So that's interesting. So he said a point there, and I don't know if y'all heard that or not, but I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this again and again and again because I'm really trying to listen to it as well.
He rejected selling me. Put you up on the block. He rejected.
He
He
rejects
ruled
selling.
that part of Texas. He's a cattleman. And he ruled that part of Galveston. He ruled that part. What he said, he went.
Well,
When they sell me, put me on the block again, he rejected. And he didn't do it. And he raised me, came to his house. And raised me. He named me Charlie. His name was Charlie, and he named me Charlie.
Well,
His name was Charlie.
after that, did you go up to
That's
Mississippi? Did you
the name he gave me. That's my name, what my mother and father named me. My name Mitchell. Mitchell Watson.
Is that a cake?
But he stole me and he got me. And he named me Charlie. That's the name I go in. And when he died. And when he died, he always teach me and his children. Didn't teach us one thing, he teaches all.
Wow.
He said anything you got to have, don't never let it live out.
So it sounds like he's repeating
He said,
himself, so it
enjoy
could
your
be.
money.
I don't mean to over talking.
living.
Okay, so let me just touch back basically. Some people just came on here. Okay, so now this is Charlie, the oldest American ex-slave named Charlie Smith. Well, he was saying that he was taken to Galveston, Texas. He said the oldest recorded person to ever live in the United States was ex-slave Charlie Smith, who was reported to had died in 1979 at the age of 137. Though there was great debate about his actual age in this 1975 recorded interview. So imagine, so he did this. Okay, let me keep going. And so, okay, so the interview with the Library of Congress, he states that he was 144 years old. So it would mean that that would have made him 148 when he died. You imagine where even if it was 137 years old, I've listened within this is like he repeated himself over and over. So he had a touch of what we would call today, far as dementia, but my God, listen to how he's talking. You can tell, as far as him speaking, he speaks well. Everything is just because he said he was raised, and he was actually, every time somebody tried to buy him, that his the one who was named after he was a slave owner was actually Charlie Smith, who he rejected. He kept rejecting, and no one, he kept him for himself. So I'm trying to understanding what was his mom was with him. So there's another link under here, and I'll share those links, and then that will probably bring us to understanding all else with him. But in that picture right there, it shows like he's having a birthday party, and look like he's of age there. So we'll go back to it.
So you can't take none of it with you when you did.
He's owning to you can't take no money with you.
That all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to school much. But I thought I hadn't been used to toting no pistols and nothing to shoot with. And I was so throwing over my pistol and rifle I had to carry and do anything else. But I was only this colored boy. All the cowboys were white. We all ate together. We slept together. Not everything. There wasn't no difference in the treatment at all. None. No. No, I'm Charlie.
Did you move up to Mississippi? Did you go to Mississippi? Eventually?
Oh, I've been all over the United States.
You worked in Mississippi, didn't you?
I'm a state man, mister. I work for the United States. I go get bad people. I'm a state man, and real as long as I live, them I thought it right here. I'm a state man. I'm the man that me and Billy the Kid, man, when got the man killed the president. And the state named me. I got 3 names. The United States, I work for the United States now. Named me Trigger Kid. Me and Billy the Kid, when we got the man killed the president, when he got him, had a $500 reward and they wanted to go get him. He killed the president. Checkitout killed Garfield. Garfield, the first president that was killed, was in the United States. And the man killed him named Checkitout and went back over in his state where he's from.
That was Charles Guitar, wasn't it?
And when us put out the $500 reward and they wanted to go get him, that was 6 men right at the line of the states. You had to get started from them to go over there, everybody go over there and get them for $500. Those men to kill him. Kill him, them 6 men. They killed him. If you go over there and get that man then to kill him, he went back in that state, because that's the state he was born and raised in. And the 6 men right at the line of the United States. And you had to get started from them to go any further in that state. And they gonna, and me and Billy the Kid, the son of some over there, the United States named me Trigger Kid, but that's the name I gave. I've been waiting for the I work for the United States now. If you're bad or if you're all bad people, that's my job now, white or black. If you do the wrong thing in the same age, or you're not going to get you, I won't see you. The son of Satan. Man killed the president.
That's right.
That's right.
You picked some fruit, didn't you? You done quite a lot of fruit picking?
Oh, I've done all kinds.
Yeah.
Here, right here. Here.
He was like also a bounty man. He went to go. He worked to actually. If whoever had any bonds out on him, he went. He was a cowboy.
I was staying at a town called Almondale.
I don't know who's back in the back making all that noise. And you know what? It might be somebody typing in it. It might have been at the sound like somebody typing.
They told me you were picking fruit when it was 113. Is that right?
Oh, right. Don't you see? And see, that's it. That's it. But tell folks that, then we got to the state. It's printed and sent to me to show people.
Yeah.
In the United States. I'm going to wait for the United States now. I'm a state man. I wait for the United States. I go get bad people, white or black. Don't care how old, who he is. If you do the wrong thing, I'm a United States man as long as I live.
Were you interviewed by Robert Ripley? You remember that Robert Ripley?
Robert Ripley.
Ripley, he's right there. That's believe it or not.
Well, I remember all bad people. I remember white or black.
This Ripley's the man you pictured with there, Charlie.
Yeah, that's it. That's the United States. I showed it to people. Me and this man was the two oldest people in the world and the quietest to me. That's a white man. And the state named me Trigger Kid. Me and Bendy Kid when we got the man killed the president. Checkitout killed Garfield. Garfield was the president of the United States.
He would know when I read about it.
And he killed him. Checkitout killed Garfield. And everybody go over there to get him for them $500. They killed him. There were 6 men right to the line of the States. And everybody go over there to get the man who killed the president. That's what state he was raised, the man going to kill him. He go back in that state. That's the state he was born and raised in.
Do you remember what state that was, Charlie?
What?
The state where this Garfield went back in, guitar.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember if I got it now. But I know he went back in the state. Yeah. He went back in the state he was born and raised in. And when he got to kill the man, he went back in that state. Well, there's 6 men at the line at a Baltimore. 6 men killed everybody go over there to get him. After this man was done to kill him. Checkitout killed Garfield. Garfield was the first president that was killed of the United States.
He repeating himself.
And Checkitout killed him and went back in that state where he was born and raised in. And everybody went over there to get him. Them 6 men that had the line, they did kill them. And they killed them, and the son, me, and Billy the Kid. The state named me Trigger Kid. And Billy the Kid, that was a white man. We went over there, was right up there. Hey, where you going?
God, they don't have a picture of Garfield. I'm trying to get it.
6 men.
President James Garfield.
You had to get started from them to go in that state. Where you going? Going across the desert. All right, you get started from us. You got started till we cussed. Till we got started. We got started from the United States. Showed them this. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got down Florida. That's what we told you, them 6 men. We told them 6 men hooking moves. They read on, all right, go ahead. Said, be damn sure going. Read on off. Got you to camp. Praise God. Thought us to want to search. Y'all come to God today. Y'all come by the hooking bulls, we cuss. Said, we come by some damn bull on that. Where you got started from the hooking bulls to search. The boss of the camp ain't here.
Stick to your time.
The boss of the camp ain't here. He said, if you want to search, the boss in the camp ain't here. The laws are there. The laws are there.
Well, coming back to the modern day or later, did the Social Security people, did they come see you?
Social Security?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did. You remember how old you were then?
The man
God, they got a lot of
raised me,
pictures of Garfield right
The man raised me, gave me the name I got, Charlotte Smith. I was raised in Galveston, Texas.
But I mean later, were you about 113 when the Social Security people come to see
Well,
you?
I don't show it to you there, kid. I'm right.
He remind me of Dick Gregory. That's what he sounds
And you're
like.
not
Keep on
wearing-
asking him a question, that's the reason I showed it to you.
Oh,
I show it to you.
he got
Now,
a little.
Yeah, I'm older now than it was then. I'm older now. I'm 144.
Yeah, that's what he say.
Last year, 4th of July.
Okay.
144 years old now. My birthday, I get a birthday card. I'm 144, last 4th day of July, last year.
1854.
You don't wear glasses.
No, I ain't never worn them.
Never wore
You
glasses.
don't wear hearing. Is that it?
I got hearing. I hear this good now. I always hearing.
I believe
And I
that.
see good as ever do. The United States takes on me.
My. Why? I have never heard about him ever. Why?
If this thing
Have you
is
heard about him ever?
or read out on get y'all don't see.
Never. This should have been in the
I'm
history
the
books.
man.
Well, since 1979, it still should be in it now, right? Because, I mean, I was, what, about 15, 16 years old when he
You
died?
could go uptown, but you didn't see him walk through. I'll straighten it up. The state's something today to straighten it. Now, color people on property there. Right between here and Walt Shooter. The colored porter couldn't get off the train there. The white folks didn't line to get off the colored porter on the train couldn't get off there. The state's something today. Straighten it up. I straighten it. The colored porter can get off there. Not colored people on property in Walt Shooter. I had to go to here Oxford. Sign was printed up there right at the depth store. Put the sign say, read nigger and run. That wasn't no sign. The state's something today. So go tear that sign down. So if you need any help, let us know. I went there. The sign was right up there. Right at the depth store. It said, read nigger and run. He said, you asked me, you got authority? I said, yeah. I got authority. Present your authority. Hear my goddamn authority. And hear my help. E45. I tore it down. At Oxford. I tore it down. Anywhere the states tell me to go and do, I do it. Now, all the states, I've been waiting for the Union. I've been waiting for the United States 100 years when I go over.
Then you brought him to the Mason Lodge?
Yeah. I was made a Mason. I've been put. The time I got old enough, I was put in, the man who raised me, put me in the Mason. I've been a Mason 100 years.
Mason.
If I want a Mason, I couldn't join you and any other man get my age. Anybody, white or black, you can get too old to join the Mason. You can get too young to join. And when I got old enough, the man put me in the Mason. One man, Charlotte. He put me in the Mason. If I want one, I couldn't go. That's in a ring, but the set dropped out of the square and come. It dropped it out.
I'm a Mason.
That was the ring. That's the set was in that ring, and it dropped out. I was in a Mason 100 years. One man, Charlotte, put me in the Mason. I'm the first colored man over male Mason in the United States.
First colored man to be a Mason.
If I want now, not only me, nobody got age. You can get too old to join the Mason. And you can get too young to join the Mason. If I want now I couldn't be because I was too old. And anybody my age, white or black, you can't join the Mason at that age. I know it. I've been a Mason 100 years. I know Mason.
And you're speaking of cowboys. We're both cowboys. We're right out of...
Oh, yeah. I'm the only colored cowboy man Charlie had. He had plenty of cowboys, but I was the only one he had. He raised me.
How many were there in your family originally?
Oh, my family?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Your mother and your children.
I didn't have but one brother and two sisters. Three sisters with the baby sister. My two older sisters, one of them was named. One of them was, both of them were married all right. My oldest, my baby sister, she's a little kid. She's the baby of all the children. I had one brother. His name was Simon Waddington. My name, what my mother said, his name was Mitchell Waddington. The name who had the name of Charlie Smith, that's a white man, he raised me in Texas. Charlie Smith. And he treated me just like he treated his children. In everything, we ate together, slept together. Yeah. And when he died,
Well,
people bragged on preachers. So good and so honest and all that good. And when he died, I gave him money to a preacher. The preacher bragged on preachers. I gave them money to teach them, but I won't take them myself. All the cowboys told the old Boots and what money the old man Charlie didn't keep for us. We kept it ourselves in our boots. And I was the only colored cowboy. We all read together, we all ate together. Not in one time, all the time. In our trees, just like one of the white.
You worked in Mississippi at one time, did you?
Yeah, I worked everywhere I went. When they took that picture they was took, I was staying right down
Now, both of them, either they got the little pieces and put together, but the same, the person asked the question, he repeating the same question too.
We haven't about covered this, and we'll take some pictures.
Oh, okay.
And so, thank you, and we will take some pictures here.
Wow. Yo, that's actually it. Wow. Well, I got part of it. I want to dig some more and see who would be considered, because it's saying he is the first one. So it got to be some other storylines out there too. You all. What is so amazing about this is that just to, wow. So you imagine. Now the person who was interviewing him, he got to the part where he's asking about his mom and his family, how many sisters and brothers. So he said, he got a brother named Simon. Then he, of course, he had a baby sister. But the question, and then it was, I think, 2 more others that was already married. But the question is why he didn't go in further with it. I'm like, what? You ask some more questions? So maybe it's written out somewhere, you all. Maybe we'll find it, whatnot. But I'm grateful that this whoever interviewed him did interview him, and then it took some pictures. So a lot of pictures that what we probably see is what you see out there of him now. But it's like, could they have sent someone out there younger too, or to interview him to get some more? I don't understand the way it played out, but this should have been, and I'm not sure if it's in our papers. Like in history already document, like in the new museum in Washington D.C. and also in Atlanta. I don't know, but this is something. But this is the first time I've ever heard of this, and to say that when he was on the block, a shopping block, to be to actually say for someone to pay for, as far as outbid him, he kept his slave owner, which is ex-slave owner, of course. Charlie Smith, and he got that name. So what about his sons? Did his sons get his name? Or did he have any sons? Maybe, I don't know, but he was raised just like his kids, and then he was raised as a cowboy, where he was like what is called a bounty hunter, that he traveled and they collect, if there was any put out there, he was one of the one that was part of one of his jobs that he went in and collect, and it was $500 on the person who killed Garfield, the president. Wow, that's deep, you all. So someone actually, Regina, put it in here and saying that check out the hidden colors. Okay, dads 1 through 4. Okay, very informative and educational. It's sold online. Just Google it. Okay, so you all, that's a great book to find out if you want. Definitely get in further into it as well. Hidden colors, and it's dad. So, but the part that's coming from, like, because it sounded like when the ship came, and he was actually taken from Liberia. He was considered as far as Liberian. So when the ships came, it was more like a show, and he wanted to go to the boat landing, and evidently that was a trick to get them there. So when that happened, I guess, the way it sounds like, they got to like get on the boat to check the boat out, and they were telling them about the fried bread, which is I grew up, I didn't really care for it, but like fried bread, but it was like pancakes today, he said, was on the ship being cooked, and that was a way, and that was a enticement, I guess, too, and then also to see the ship. So when the ship started moving, he was under the impression that the ship was going to go up the, I guess upward, like staying into Africa, Liberia, but he come to find out at this point when the ship stopped, it was in New Orleans. He was old enough. He lived a long time. You are 100 and he said 144 years. So I'm going to stick with what he said. To live to 144 years old. So that would have made him 148 when he died. You all, who you know? You know anybody who lived to be 48 years old? Then his life wasn't like any slaves that I've heard of. His life wasn't even like where he said he slept with the family and they were all raised up together and he was treated just equal, just like all of them. Why there isn't a movie about this? And maybe it is. I'm gonna dig some more, you all. And find out. Now there's one down here called Ex-Slave. His name is Fountain Hughes, and it's unedited right here. So I'm not sure. I've heard a little bit of this one, a little bit, but it was mixed with other ones that other slaves that were in it too. So maybe this is an extension of this right here too. I got the same face in there. My phone is not gonna let me stay on because it's dying, and I'm not.
What's your name is? My name is Fountain Hughes. I was born in Charlotteville, Virginia.
So he was born here. He was born.
My
here.
grandfather belonged to Thomas Jefferson.
Grandfather belonged to Thomas
My
Jefferson.
grandfather was 115 years old when he died. And now I am 101 years old.
Wow.
That's enough. She went to work. But what she made, I don't know. I never asked her.
You just go ahead and talk away there. You don't mind, do you?
Now, now your husband and you both are young. You all try to live like young people ought to live. Don't want everything somebody else has got.
Go ahead, preach.
It is young. Be satisfied. And don't spend your money until you get it.
Oh.
So many people get in debt.
What he said, don't spend your money till you get it.
It's just cheap. Now, boy, you spend your money before you get it because you're going in debt for what you want. When you want something, wait until you get the money and pay for it cash. That's what I've done. If I wanted anything, I waited until I got the money and I paid for it cash. I never bought nothing on time in my life. Now, plenty of people, if they want a suit of clothes, they go to work and they buy them on time. Well, they said it was cheap. If you got the money, you can buy them cheaper. They want something for waiting on you for till you get ready to pay them. And if you got the money, you can go where you choose and buy it when you want it. You see? Don't buy it because somebody else go down and run a debt and run a bill, or I'm going to run it too. Don't do that. I never done it. Now, I'm 100 years old and I don't owe nobody 5 cents. But I ain't got no money. Well, I'm happy, just as happy as somebody that got millions. Nothing worries me. My head ain't even white. And nothing in the world worries me. I can sit here in this house till night. Nobody can come and say, Mr. Hughes, you owe me a quarter, owe me $1, you owe me 5 cents. No, you can't. I don't owe you nothing. Why? I never made no bills in my life. And I'm living too. And I'm 100 years old. And if you take my advice today, you'll never make a bill. Of course, what you want, give me money, pay them cash. And then the rest of the money is yours.
Okay.
If you run a bill, so much and so much, and you don't have to pay nothing down. It's all, when you come to pay, it's all, you have to pay no more. But they'll charge you more. They're getting something out of it, else they wouldn't trust you. But I can't just say what they're getting. But they're getting something out of it, else they wouldn't want your credit. Now I tell you that anybody that trusts you for $2 or have an account with them by the month or by the week, store account or any account, they're getting something out of you. They say they don't want to accommodate you that much to trust you. Now, if I want, of course I ain't got no clothes, but if I want some clothes, if I ain't got no money, I'm going to wait till I get the money to buy them. I'm not going to say, of course, I can get them on trust. I go down and get them. I got to pay $1 more anyhow. They'll either charge more if they say taxes are so much. But if I got the money to pay cash up, I pay the taxes all now in cash. Then it's all done. So many are colored people head over heels in debt. Trust. I get it on time. They want to set furniture. Go down and pay down so much. Rest on time. You done paid for them then. When you pay down so much, you may charge you $50 for $100 for a set, and you pay down $25 cash. You done paid for them. That's all it was, $25. And you pay. Now I'm $75 in debt now, because I have to pay $100. That's it. And it's only worth.
Excuse me, somebody wrote something, a comment on there.
But you mind on time.
That's right.
But people ain't got sense enough to know it. But when you get old like I am, you come in and think, well, I have done wrong. I should have kept my money until I wanted this thing, and when I want it, I take my money and go cash for it. And else I do without it. Yes, suppose you want a new dress. You say, well, I buy it, but I don't need it. But I can get it on time. Well, let's go down to the store today and get something on time. Well, you go down and get a dress on time, something else, and let him, I want that, you sell that to you on time. You don't have to pay nothing down. But there's a payday coming. And when that payday comes, they want you to come and pay them. If you don't, they can't get no more. Well,
that's how you get back called
if
back
you never
rent.
do that, if you don't start it, you will never end it. I never did buy nothing on time. I must tell you on this. I'm sitting right here now today, and this is the last word I've got to tell you. I never even much as tried to buy a shirt on time. And plenty of people go down to the store and buy $3 and $4 for a shirt, $7, $8 for a pair of pants. Of course, you get them on time. I don't know. I say I buy something for $5. Of course, I got the $5. I'll pay for it. I'm done with that.
You talk about how old you are, Uncle Fountain.
Well,
how far back do you remember?
I remember. Well, I tell you, things come to me in spirit, you know. I remember things more when I'm laying down than I do when I'm walking around.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in my boy days, boys lived quite different from the way they live now. But boys wasn't as mean as they are now either. Boys lived they had a good time. The masters didn't treat them bad. And they was always satisfied. They never wore no shoes until they was 12 or 13 years old. And now people put on shoes on babies, you know, when they're when they're month old. I'd be, I don't know, put shoes on babies. Just as soon as you see them out in the street, they got shoes on. I told one the other day, I said, I never had no shoes till I was 13 years old.
13 years old.
She said, what? But you bruise your feet all up and stump your toes? I said, yes, many times I've stumped my toes and blood run out of them. That didn't make me buy me no shoes. And I've been, you wore a dress like a woman till I'd be 10, 12, 13 years old.
So you wore a dress, Philip?
Yes, I didn't wear no pants, and of course didn't make boys' pants. Boys wore dresses. Now the women's wearing the dresses, and the boys are going with the women's wearing the pants now, and the boys wearing the dresses. Still.
Who did you work for, Uncle Fountain?
Who did I work for?
Yeah.
You mean when I was a slave?
Yeah, when you were a slave, who did you work for?
Well, I belonged to Burnley's when I was a slave. My mother belonged to Burnley's, but was all slave children, and soon after, when we found out that we were free, well, then we were bound out to different people, Fickle and Andrews and all such people that, and we'd run away and wouldn't stay with them. Well, then we'd just go and stay anywhere we could, and live out at night and anywhere. We had no home, you know. We just turned out like a lot of cattle. You know how to turn cattle out in the pasture? But after freedom, you know, colored people didn't have nothing. Colored people didn't have no beds when they were slaves. They all slept on the floor. Colored here, colored there. Just like a lot of white people. We didn't know nothing. We didn't like to look at no book. And there were some freeborn colored people where they had a little education, but there were very few of them where we was. And we all
They weren't allowed
had
to look at books, and they slept on
what
the
you
floor.
call, I might call it now, jail centers. It just seemed as we were in jail. Now I couldn't go from here across the street, or I couldn't go to nobody's house without I have a note or something from my master. And if I had that pass, that was what we call a pass. If I had that pass, I could go wherever he sent me, and I'd have to be back. Whoever he sent me to, they'd give me another pass, and I'd bring that back, so to show how long I'd been gone.
Wow.
You couldn't go out and stay an hour or 2 hours or something like that. They send you. Now, say for instance, I go to your Shirley's place, I'd have to walk, and I'd have to be back maybe in an hour. Maybe they'd give me an hour. I don't know just how long they'd give me. But they'd give me a note so there wouldn't nobody interfere with me and tell who I belonged to. And when I come back, well, I'd carry it to my master and give that to him. That'd be all right. But I couldn't just walk away like the people just now, you know. It was what they call, we were slaves. We belonged to people. They sell us like they sell horses and cows and hogs and all like that. Have an auction bench, and they put you up on the bench and bid on you, the same as you're bidding on cattle, you know.
Was that in Charlotte that you were a slave? Was that in Charlotte or Charlottesville?
That in Charlottesville.
Charlottesville.
Oh, and then if they had any bad ones, they'd sell them to the nigger traders, what they call the nigger traders, and they ship them down south and sell them down south. But otherwise, if you were a good person, they wouldn't sell you. But if you were bad, mean, they didn't want to beat you and knock you around, they'd sell you to the what they call a nigger trader. They'd have a regular sale every month, you know, at the courthouse. And then they'd sell you $200, $100, $500.
Were you ever sold from one person to another? Were you ever sold?
No, I never was sold.
You always stayed with the same person?
I was too young to sell.
Oh, I see.
See, I wasn't old enough during the war to sell, during the army. And my father got killed in the army, you know, so it left us small children just to live on whatever people choose to give us. I was bound out for $1 a month, and my mother used to collect the money. Children couldn't spend money when I come along. In fact, when I come along, young men couldn't spend no money until they were 21 years old. And then you're 21, well, then you could spend your money. But if you wasn't 21, you couldn't spend no money. I couldn't spend 10 cents if somebody gave it to me. Because they just think, well, he might have stolen it. We all come along, you might say, we had to give an account of what you done. You couldn't just do things and walk off and say, I didn't do it. You'd have to give an account of it. Now, after we got free, then they turned us out like cattle. We didn't have nowhere to go. We didn't have nobody to boss us. And we didn't know nothing. There wasn't no school. And when they started the little school, people that were slaves, many of them go to school, except they had a father and a mother. And my father was dead, and my mother was living. she had 3, 4 other little children. She had to put them all to work to help take care of the others. So we had what you call worse than dogs. We got it now. The dogs have got it now better than we had it when we come along. I remember one night I was out after I was free, and I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't have nowhere to sleep. I didn't know what to do. My brother and I was together. So we knew a man that had a livery stable. And we crept in that yard and got in one of the hacks of the automobile and slept in that hack all night long. So next morning we could get out and go where we belonged. We were afraid to go at night because we didn't know where to go. We didn't know what time to go. But we had got away from there and we were afraid to go back. So we kept in, slept in that thing all night until the next morning we got back where we belonged before the people got up. Soon as the day commenced to come out, break, we got up and commenced to go where we belonged. But we never done that but the one time. After that, we always, if it was away, we'd try to get back before night come. But then that was on a Sunday too, that we done that. Now, when we were slaves, we couldn't do that, see? And if we got free, we didn't know nothing to do.
Wow.
And my mother, she hunted places and bound us out for $1 a month. And we stayed there maybe a couple of years. And she'd come over and collect the money every month. And $1 was worth more then than $10 is now. And the men used to work for $10
$1 was worth more.
$120 a year used to hire that way.
Like it was $1 was like $10 back then.
Now you can get a man for $50 a month. If you pay a man now $50 a month, you don't want to work for it.
More like $50 a week nowadays.
Not even $50. Child, no. Not even half a day. $50.
Now, and we had then, and we no more money, but of course they bought more stuff, more property and all like that. We didn't have no property, we didn't have no home, we had no nothing. We didn't have nothing, just lazy cattle. We just turned out. And
okay, yeah, I don't know where my phone is at with the charger. I'm just gonna try to charge it. But his name is Fountain Hughes, and he is actually lived in the moment. He was born in Virginia, Charlotteville, Virginia, where all that crazy stuff went on a couple of months back. He was born there in Charlottesville, Virginia. And some people, when it comes down, you hearing the Nazis and the Nazis are the neo-Nazis or the supremacists or white supremacists or all, one want to bring back, going backwards instead of going forward. And Trump actually said there was good people on both sides. Not only that, I picked up on was, I believe it said they couldn't spend money, even though they made money here or there, they could not spend money until they got 18 years old to spend money. After they got freed, the night they evidently stayed where they were at a place too long and got dark, and they were scared to travel through the town or city or whatnot, so they went and stayed in someone else's I would say a hack or something, or could possibly be a barn, I'm not sure, and slept there until morning came, and then that's when they got up and they left, and they said they never done that before. But he said what was stuck out so much, they were homeless. They were homeless. They had when they became free, they were homeless. They didn't have anywhere to go, no education, no clothes. I mean, far as furniture, nothing. And he said that night he didn't know when it became free. Well, we so used to being bossed around, no longer we got a boss. This is deep. Deep.
You get along the best you could. Nobody to look after, so we've been slaves all our lives. My mother was a slave, my sisters were slaves, father was a slave.
Who was your father a slave for, Uncle Phil?
He's a slave for Burnley. He belonged to Burnley.
Didn't he belong to Thomas Jefferson at one time?
He didn't belong to Thomas Jefferson.
He
My
did.
grandfather belonged to Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, your grandfather did?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, my father belonged to Burnley. And Burnley died during the wartime because